Hello everyone, Shenn Thomas here, and I think this is episode 8, Tea with Shenn. So, thank you for joining me. And today, I was thinking about talking about various experiences that I've had with meditation. So a couple episodes back, I talked about, with Kung Fu, how we would get in the middle of a workout, doing kicks and punches. And our instructor would have us sit down and meditate right then and there to basically get control of our breathing and our heart rate, right? And as the time goes and you get better and better at that, you're able to relax more and more. And as you're meditating, you straighten the spine, and you kind of have this idea of straightening the spine to where the back of your head is almost like held by a string, right? And so you're kind of dangling there, and then what you find is that your pelvis, usually we would sit in a cross-legged position, not lotus, not anything that extreme, but just cross-legged. But what you can do is you can actually kind of scoot your butt and your pelvis forward slightly, and then you rock back a little bit, and you find that when you tilt your head, that you can find where you can balance on your spine. Each vertebrae balances upon themselves, right? So that way, when you're meditating, you can be relaxed and you don't have all of your back muscles engaged trying to keep your back upright and straight. And sometimes you have to, in the middle of a meditation, sometimes you have to lean back or forward and find that sweet spot where your structure of your spine supports itself. Right? And that's what you need, because you need to be relaxed in order for the breathing and the chi flow to happen, right? And so what we were first taught is just kind of using the pressure points of the hands, the tips of the fingers and the crease of the thumb, and not just touching like you see in a lot of Indian meditation, right? Chakra meditation. No, the tip of the finger needs to be in that groove of the thumb with slight pressure. So you're actually, connecting pressure points and channels, right? And so when you do that, and then of course your tongue has to be turned over backward and touching the tip of your palate or the top of your palate. And what you do is that from that touching, it creates a circuit. And so you basically have a front line or channel where chi is flowing downward, okay? And then that goes all the way down to the dantian and down even to the perineum, to the very base of the spine. And then you have on the back side, you have a line of, or a channel of chi that rises up along the back of the spine, all the way back up to the top of the head, right? And so sometimes they'll call that the conception vessel and the governing vessel. There's different words for it in Chinese medicine as far as meridians or channels, right? But basically, it's just the pathway of chi, right? And so what we first work at doing is trying to gather the light, or with our breath we're trying to pull the chi in from the air around us and from the earth underneath us. We're trying to pull that chi in, and the first place is basically concentrating on that center of gravity, or the dantian, about an inch below the belly button and about maybe an inch inside of the body, right? And so we're trying to breathe in deeply and pull chi into that area, right? And then when we breathe out, we relax even more, and we spin that little ball of chi, or that little ball of light that we're concentrating on, that little ball of energy. And so as we breathe in, we're breathing in more particles into the Dantian, particles of energy with each breath, and condensing and spinning it with each breath outward. And what we find is that when we start to build that energy, that warmth manifests there, and so we can start to feel that there's chi there, starting to build up. And then we start moving it, right? And so we start moving it downward to the base of the spine and then up the back, right? And what I find is with one breath, I'll build the chi, right? And instead of concentrating it on the breath out, we actually move the chi with the breath out. And we move, we imagine, because wherever the mind imagines, the chi follows, right? And so we imagine that's flowing down to the very base of the spine and then coming back up the sacrum, back up the vertebrae, right? And what I do is I take it to a point in about the middle of my back, below the shoulder blades, kind of the opposite of the solar plexus, but in the back. And I take it up to that point, and then I breathe in, and I build it at that point. And then I breathe out, and I move it up the back, between the shoulders, all the way up to the very top of the head, right? Where some people would say your crown chakra opening is. Some people say the crown chakra sits above that, but basically that opening. So I bring it on the breath out, that's when you move it. And then on the breath in, you charge it and you bring in more particles of energy into that point. And then when you breathe out, then from that point it flushes forward, and it's kind of partly inside of the skull as it moves forward, and you feel a flush as it flows through your face on the inside of your skull and down. And then usually I take that to about the solar plexus when I breathe out, and then I breathe in at about the solar plexus and take it back down to the Dantian again, right? And so then that's a basic circuit of breathing, of chi breathing. And so with meditation, what we want to do with this specific type of meditation, it's chi cultivation, right? And so instead of the kind of mental meditation that they do in Zen Buddhism, where it's meditating on a particular thought or emptiness or a koan, it's you are relaxing and going empty, and you're just feeling the breath and the chi. Okay, so it is empty mind in a way, because you're in the moment and you're just feeling the chi build with the breath in, and then move with the breath out, right? And so we keep working on this pathway of where it starts at the Dantian, it goes downward, comes up the spine, up the back, and then flushes through the front of the face and back down to the solar plexus, and then the Dantian again. And so we work on that circuit. It's called the microcosmic orbit in Taoist meditation. And so we keep working on that circuit to where it becomes natural with our breathing, right? And what that does is that emptiness and that focus on just the sensation of the chi and the breathing, that occupies most of our rational mind, right? Our thinking mind. And so then when you get that to where it feels natural with the breathing, then you're actually able to start doing some deeper meditation where you can actually allow divine energy to come down through the crown chakra and to add to that circuit of energy, right? And then you can actually open up gateways to actually visit other realms, and so it's kind of similar to astral projecting, but you're not really leaving your body, but your consciousness and your sensory is going places and exploring, right? But you need to have this microcosmic orbit going first, right? And when you get that down, then it's like an engine that's idling, right? And it's running, And then that keeps part of the mind busy while the other part of the mind can actually have visions, receive downloads, and actually travel to other realms. So I think that's what I wanted to cover in today's little meditation video, and then I'll make another one where I go in a little more detail about how to actually travel and go to these other places in your meditation, and to have that direct interaction with the divine. So thank you for joining me again for this episode. Goodbye.